Yeah. Okay, so we're back. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. You've like cut me. It needs to. No, no, no. That's too much. That's too much. Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that. So,
Okay.
apologies, guys, about that. We had some unforeseen
Circumstances.
some unforeseen technical issues. Everything was going so well,
Yeah.
but technology didn't want us to be
Wasn't
great.
Nearly assassinated.
But I made it.
She made it.
I made it. But I think where we got cut off from was I was asking a lot of people have this number one question.
Yeah.
How do I pay my taxes but also be able to actually reap from all the hard work that I've put in and everything that I've
Okay,
worked
so the
hard
most
for.
common way that you hear that is two ways actually. Two very common ways. Is through pensions.
Okay.
So the more you put into a pension, you can actually get your personal allowance increased. So like they would increase your basic band tax. So instead of your basic band tax finishing at 50%, 50,000. I know there's 50,000 and 200 something, but I don't want to find myself fumbling over the little numbers. But let's say 50,000 for now.
Yeah.
When you get pension or you put money into a pension, say you put 10k into a pension, you can actually increase your basic band by 10k.
Okay.
So it means that more is getting less at tax at less.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I get you.
Do you?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Okay.
You can repeat it again.
So it's essentially that if you put money to paying at a lesser rate and things like that, so it's. Are we on?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so you would essentially be able to increase your bands with putting money into donations, gift aid, and putting money into pensions.
Right.
But then there's other ways that this is more for like nuclear families. So say like you have a nuclear family. So this is more to save your household income. So like for example, you can like transfer personal allowances in marriage. So when you're married to someone, so say someone is getting taxed a bit more, you can transfer a bit of that your wife's personal allowance over to your husband, and the husband can transfer a bit of personal allowance over to their wife.
Yeah. To avoid
to again get more money that's not
taxed.
I'm trying to think of other ways off the top of my head. Of course, there's things like offshore accounts, but that's more for businesses.
Yeah.
Registering your business outside the UK, but of course, all types of residency tests come into that. So you do have to bear that in mind. There's also, I'm trying to think, reducing your tax. There's like other little schemes. So, of course, your expenses as well.
Yeah.
So, as well, I've actually realised that a lot of people don't even know the expenses that they can expense. So they always say,
I think we see that a lot.
Yeah, so like they say a business, like they always say like you can actually expense a birthday party. So this is how you expense a birthday party.
This is accounting 101.
Okay.
Tips and tricks.
This is how you expense a birthday party. So what you do is at a party. So we've got, I can see Remy Kingdom Wealth on here. We've got Paris Wealth on here. So we invite them to our party.
Right.
But at the beginning of the party, we're going to do 10 accounting tips to make your business thrive. It's going to be one of the party activities. So
at a birthday party.
At a birthday party.
Right.
So that is what we will start the party off with. That automatically makes that expense a business expense. So then essentially all the other money that you're spending on the drinks and etc. can also be expensed into the business expense.
Right.
So how HMRC work out your expenses is that if it is wholly and exclusively for business, then
it can be expensed.
Then it can be expensed. So I think I saw this guy, I can't remember his name, on Instagram, and he had a business conference as his birthday party. He didn't have a business conference as his birthday party.
A birthday party.
He had a birthday party, but he's trying to expense it.
Right.
So, and I think there was another interesting thing that I saw actually, was someone was able to expense a boob job.
Oh, what?
A boob job.
How?
So they were able to put a boob job as one of their expenses.
Okay.
So like,
and what was the
if
business?
you're trying to get a BBL, you know, like, so, okay, yeah. So it's what the business was. So she is self-employed on OnlyFans.
Okay.
So
interesting.
She got a boob job.
That is a business expense though.
It is a business.
It is. It is a business expense.
Because if you can prove that expense has helped to increase your revenue, then
trust me,
you can class it as a business expense. So essentially, this lady got a boob job and was able to expense it because she works for OnlyFans and she, I don't know, takes pictures.
I mean, it
whatever,
helps
and it helps her
clientele.
money because the bigger her boobs are, the more clients she's probably gonna get in. So
wow.
You can get so if you're trying to get a BBL, if you're trying to get some
BBL
teeth done,
any aesthetic kind of job, OnlyFans,
so pick up an OnlyFans job.
Amazing. Yeah. So there are ways around.
So there's a few ways. I mean, like there's no way to avoid it completely,
and we don't encourage that you avoid paying your taxes.
We don't encourage that, but you can try your best. Yeah, because even the pension at some point is going to get taxed anyways. Is what it is. You just
at every stage you just have to.
You just say wah. It's just a sad story.
Count the costs and say
count the costs. Like just get rich enough to the point where it just doesn't affect you.
That's honestly that's why I said that. As much as we're talking about it, it can't make me broke because I'm gonna get so rich to the point where take 50%. What I still have left is even more than you could dream of. So
if you're trying to be a billionaire, then they can take whatever it is that they want to take in it. So
wow. So from that conversation, from that answer, I just know OnlyFans for all of my personal expenses.
Are you gonna do OnlyFans?
No, but I'm just saying if someone comes to me and someone comes and asks that question, I'll just tell them.
Oh, you know the answer.
Yeah,
okay,
I know the answer for that.
Okay, cool.
Okay, another question.
I think like the girls that probably do like
so like influencers,
all of, like the waist clenchers and stuff. It could actually make sense to them. They could probably.
That's so crazy.
Soundly like expense like a BBL or something because they can also argue the point that it is for business purposes. So.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. So another question that we had earlier was, hold on, let me just try and find it. How do I determine my tax bracket?
How do you determine? So
I know that you've explained the different tax brackets, but how does one actually determine, okay, with all that I do, this is where I fall under?
We have something called your total taxable income.
Right.
So that is the addition of your NSI, non-savings income, so your salary plus your savings income plus your dividends income. When you add all of that, the total that amount comes up to determines the tax bracket that you fall into.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So everything that you make as an income is what determines the tax bracket that you fall into. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I think there was a few more questions, but I can't find them now. There was a few questions from the stream that was on before. Someone was asking about offshore accounts. So I know that you've mentioned that it works for businesses. So are we saying that those offshore accounts can't work for individuals, or it just works better?
I mean, if you go and work in a different country, you will still get taxed at a UK on a UK tax band, because it's not even just as simple as going to live in a different country. You have to do a residency test. So I can't remember the tests off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But essentially, like, if you have like a family home here that you've lived in from a child, and you don't live there anymore, but you've got like your mum and dad living there, that would still make you have ties to the UK. If you there's many different things, like little tests that we do, that would mean that you still have ties to the UK.
So you would still be classed as...
Yeah, so you would still have to pay UK tax at some point.
Okay.
So it's not like just as simple as up and leaving. Sometimes it can be. It depends.
Yeah.
It's on a case to case basis.
Yeah.
Same thing with an offshore account. It's about registering your business in another country, but again, there is like residency ties and things like that can come up and kind of blur all of those lines. So I always say with accounting, it's not black and white. There's so many things that can come up, and
I think one of the questions that I also saw on the stream before was somebody asked what our thoughts was on taxing universal credit. And I think that one is a bit interesting because, okay, I don't work. I claim universal credit at the end of every month or however often it's given to you, but then you pay taxes on it. What's your thoughts on that? Because for me, I think I understand why. Because as much as I'm not working, it's still a source of income.
Yeah.
That's the truth. So if we're saying that we are taxing people that actually go out to work, people that are actually doing things to get that income, if the government, whether it's from the government or whether it's from my own labour that I'm getting my income, why should it not be taxed? Because I personally feel like if I'm taxed on money that's given to me, and it's already a smaller amount than it would be if I was to go and get a job.
Yeah.
If I'm then taxed on that, would that not be the incentive to then go out and, find an income in another way?
I get it, but I don't know if that concept is correct. Because if you look at it, if the benefit is tax money, so if you're essentially you taxing the benefit, you're just reducing the benefit.
Yeah.
So it's all going into the same pot.
Yeah, no, of course. It's all going into the same pot. But for the person that
defeats the purpose of the benefit, if you understand what I'm saying, because people are getting a minimum amount in order to live. So then if you're then taking off from that, you're then reducing that minimum.
Their minimum amount.
To get...
I hear you.
What I'm saying.
I hear you.
I'm not for the benefit stuff. Like, I can't lie. I don't have much of a... I don't want to voice my opinion on here too much, but...
I mean, that's what the podcast is for.
That's what the podcast is
That's what this conversation is for.
It's true, but... Yeah. Yeah. Nah. Nah. It's fine, but I guess I don't think it would really... As much as it makes sense, like...
Logically, you can see why it would make sense, but...
People will feel like it's fair, but then it's almost like
you're taking from whatever has already been taken.
Yeah, so it's basically, like, it doesn't really make sense.
I hear you. So, I think it's more so it would work on almost like a reverse psychology, if I can use that point, because I feel like the tax man is doing me harm with money that I'm getting.
I don't think the drive to make people work, I don't think it comes from the tax system. I just think it comes from a flawed system overall. So from schooling all the way up. I think I was watching something about an accountant who basically said, like, when I left uni, I didn't know anything about doing accounts. Like, I didn't know about doing accounts.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you go to uni, you are actually taught to work in the corporate world.
Yeah.
So, like, it's all a cycle. So as much as it's like, like, we can do this thing of, like, if we tax them more, they're going to go to work. And no, I don't think it's that. The mindset is flawed from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Who wants to sit at home on benefits? So
No
if
one.
if somebody's sitting at home and willingly going on benefits, then that is the mindset that's flawed, not essentially. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And same thing, like, so if someone is willingly doing it, I don't know if there's much you can really do to change that sort of person, especially an adult. If it's a child, maybe you've got time.
But as an adult, middle-aged, there's not really much that you can do.
They're gonna be on universal credit for the rest of their life. More likely, not always, but more than likely.
Someone said, I think that's weird. Why didn't they just give less UC? And I think...
Yeah, it would be weird. So, yeah, they would give less UC.
Yeah.
But truth is, UC, I think, is around, if you have a kid, is around £600 a month.
£600 a month?
So, it's not like a huge amount of money. So...
Crazy.
If it is that...
That's barely enough to get by.
Yeah, so they are living on change. So then, if you want to tax that on top, then
you might as well just not give them anything.
Don't give them money, because you can just about pay rent on that.
600.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
I think so. Yeah.
Someone also asked, does that count if I change my citizenship? So I think that was when we were speaking about an individual deciding to have an offshore account. Would it matter if they've then renounced their British citizenship? And
that I'm not entirely sure about. I would have to research it
and come back.
It depends on the resident. It's all on these residency types,
because different countries have different tax laws.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
So it's all on these residency. I'm sure if you probably drop your citizenship, then maybe it wouldn't apply to you. But I'm not 100% sure. Yeah.
Okay. I think this was answered already when you were speaking about the different tax brackets, but it's a question that somebody asked. How do I, as someone working, calculate my self-employment taxes?
How do I, as someone working, calculate my self-employment taxes?
So I think I'm guessing that they're a sole trader. So let's just assume that they're a sole trader and they're working. How did they actually calculate everything?
It will be very difficult for them to calculate everything on their own. When we were in uni, we had to calculate everything from scratch. So it's something I know how to do. So essentially, I think where we gave the breakdown of somebody making, let's say somebody is making 50k. Can I get a pen and a book? Is there any chance of getting a pen and a book?
Accountant's coming out.
So just to make it easy, and let's do it on a stream. Or somebody put in the comments, you can walk in the camera quick. If somebody puts in the comments a salary, I'll work out how much that salary is going to get taxed. Anyone? So that's the first person.
Our viewers, if
to
you
put a yearly salary,
put any yearly salary, and we can work out
how much is going to get
how
taxed.
much you would get taxed.
I'm not going to take into account if they're doing anything in terms of dividends, savings, income, and
literally just their salary.
Just the salary.
I have a figure in my head, but I think I want the
1,817. I'm talking about a yearly salary. Okay, so give me a yearly salary. A yearly salary. Somebody give me a yearly salary.
55k.
55k. So we'll do 55,000. And then we'll do 12,570 times 0 equals 0. And then we will do 55,000. So you got your phone with you, right?
Yes, I do.
55,000 minus 12,570. What does that give us?
55,000 take away 12,570. We have 42,430.
Okay, so do 50,240 minus 12,570. What does that give us?
That gives us 37,670.
37,670 times 20. The first bracket is 25%.
25%.
25%.
So
Okay.
times this 0.25.
Yeah.
470.
9,417.5. And then the balance. So do 12,570 plus 37,670
Plus 37,670.
70
Yes.
equals
50,524.
that would be, and then do 55,000 minus that.
55,000.
Yeah, minus that.
55,000. Take away 50,240. That leaves us with 4,760.
So then we have 4,760 times 40%.
Times 40%.
Yeah, equals
Times 0.40. 1,904.
1,904. So then now 1,904 plus 9,417.50
9,417.50 equals up to 11,321.50 pence.
3,021.50 pence. So in income tax, that's how much you get taxed in a year. £11,321 will go to HMRC as tax, and then you would also
Right.
have your NI insurance, which I haven't worked out on here. But
Wow.
income tax solely would be £11,321.
So if you take that away from 55,000,
Yeah.
that means your yearly salary is really 43,678.50.
Yeah,
That's
take home.
before
Yeah, so that's before NI.
and all
And
those
then-
contributions.
Yeah, and if you have any student loan
Loans
deductions and all of that stuff.
Crazy.
Fines, if you have any fines that have gone to the stage of taking it directly from your pay.
Crazy.
All of this stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Thank you for that working out.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. So I think we've kind of pretty much answered the title of today's
Yeah. Yeah.
podcast. Wow. Okay. So I think, how do we round up this conversation?
So I think we can simply just put it as wealth, being rich. I don't think it's determined by a tax system. I don't think it's determined by a job. I think it's determined by an individual. I think it's determined by how much an individual can fight to be resilient. I feel like today a lot of young people are not being taught to fight. I think a lot of them are being taught to give up when it gets stressful. And that's not even being insensitive around the discussions of mental health, but things like that. Like some people, like I can speak of times when anxiety was my fueling force for certain targets, if you understand what I'm saying, or where I was depressed but I would still wake up every day and go to work. So essentially I think what the government or what the world is some kind of subtly doing is kind of allowing people to shy away from the fights of life because of the pain that also comes with that fight. But I don't think that's the answer to it. I think it's definitely don't leave your mental health. Definitely manage that.
Yeah.
But it's about having that
resilient mind.
and building yourself to the point where you're able to manage your mind as well as manage your business, which is, standing on business as well as standing on my mind. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't allow life to defeat you in the way that many people are just letting life defeat them.
Yeah.
Because more and more we're seeing how the benefit system is becoming more like you can go to job center and see queues of people from young to old to
middle-aged. Everyone is struggling.
Black, white, Asian. Like there's no person, and it's like I think for me it's just that yes, the UK tax system will not get you rich, but yes, you can still get rich. So I don't think it's a hindrance.
No.
I think it's just It's just a fighting force to be able to do better.
To do more.
To do more. It's just, that's all it is.
Yeah.
And you can bypass it to the point where you make enough money to live a very, very comfortable life. So, yeah, I think I'll end it like that.
I think I totally agree with you. I think in the roundup of this conversation, and even just hearing from people on the stream, things that people have said, I think, yeah, the UK tax system is made to keep us in a certain bracket, but I think it's not the end all be all.
Yeah.
I don't think, as you mentioned, resilience, the mindset to push and stuff, the UK tax system can't take that away from you.
Yeah.
That's the truth. People have done it. It's very hard. They probably had struggles, like you said. You got to get used to chewing glass, but it's doable. So I think as to round up the conversation, yes, the tax system is there. Yes, there's implications. Yes, there's things that can almost seem like it discourages you from making it, quote unquote. But as we've said, these are what these conversations are about.
Yeah.
These are the reasons why we come on every week and have these conversations, because as much as you've mentioned it, it dates back to even what you're taught in schools. That's the truth. In school, they don't really teach you entrepreneurship. I think every entrepreneur can say that school is not what made them. School didn't give them that resilience to push. I think school kind of just gives you enough to get by and fit into that middle class employee. And that's not to say don't do well in school. Of course, do well, do everything, because it's also the people that do well in school that sometimes attain those high positions. But I think from this conversation, and even speaking to some of our clients, speaking to some of the viewers, hearing from some of the viewers, the tax system, yes, has its faults, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to make it. So I think that's how we can round up the conversation.
As usual, we always say, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, scan our QR code if you're interested in being part of our community. And we thank you for watching, and we hope you tune in next week.
Yes, I think just to celebrate this new set, we got to end by a cheers. We got to do it, and you need to be a bit more enthusiastic about it. So we're going to start that again.
What do you want from me?
Put the glass down. We're going to start that again. Okay. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. Like we said, scan the QR code. Make sure that you stay in touch with us. I think we've been getting a lot of people join our community recently.
Yeah.
And it's really, really exciting, because it's not only people aspiring to be accountants, it's business owners and people that just need someone to talk to when it comes to accounting. So, yeah, guys, make sure you scan the QR code. As I said, to end this new set and celebrate, we're going to cheers. Okay, she's not giving me the energy that I want, but it's okay.
I'm giving you all the energy.
She didn't even smile. You didn't smile.
I'm smiling.
Okay, you didn't smile when you picked up the glass. But anyways, thank you for watching, guys. We'll be back next week.
Cheers.
Cheers.